Okay, so we're finally back out in the garage. It's finally starting to warm up a little bit out there. And what I've done is I've got the blow-by meter hooked up in here, and I've got the data acquisition cabinet back out here, and everything's hooked up. About to try it out. So what I've got is kind of hard to see, but we've got some clear hose here on this valve cover, and same thing on the other valve cover. And what it does is it goes up into there. There's a coupling there to go from the smaller hoses up to the bigger sized hose, and then into the blow-by Venturi meter. That's all hooked up. Now let me tell you what my plan is if everything goes to plan. The engine's quite cold. It's probably about 40 degrees, maybe a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up. I'm going to start the data logger, get everything running, and I want to watch the blow-by as the engine warms up. And what we can do is we can watch that, and then we can run the engine at some different speeds and maybe some different loads and see how the blow-by changes. And this is assuming that any of this stuff actually works on this, because I might have it all completely wrong. But we can try it out. It might be an interesting way to test out this meter that I built. So let's get it started up, and let's get the data acquisition system running, and then we can go from there. Okay, so I'm ready to start the engine, and then I realized that from before I still haven't set the ignition time. I've got it dialed in pretty close, but I still haven't set it. So let's get the engine started. We'll start the logger, set the ignition timing, and then we'll start watching how this stuff comes together. Alright, so here's the data that we recorded during that test, and basically you can kind of see here it did start out pretty cold. It was actually more like 55 degrees there, and it slowly warms up during the test. So let's just start scrolling down, and hit this column here, the blowby in CFM, and let's just start scrolling down and see how we do. And what I'm seeing right now so far is that these numbers are a lot lower than I thought that they were going to be. So let's just keep looking, and we'll watch the temperature here in this column. That's the coolant outlet temperature. Warming up, warming up, warming up. And then at this point here, I actually put a load on. I bring the RPMs up to about 2200 and then begin putting a load onto it. And this column here should be torque in foot-pounds. And I probably brought it up pretty, that was probably 50% throttle or so, something like that. And we can see that when I put the load on it, and which kind of makes sense, is that the blow-by flow rate increased there, which is to be expected. But even there, with the load on it, these numbers here, to me, that doesn't seem like a lot of blow-by to me. 2 to 3 CFM of blow, 2 to 3 CFM of blow-by, that does not seem like a lot to me. And I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought these numbers were going to be quite a lot higher. And then I just let it idle for a little while longer and kind of keep an eye on these a little bit. And you can see our temperatures now are up 180, 190. So the engine's completely warmed up at this point. And it just idles for a while. And then I basically do a full throttle pull on it right here. And start out there. And we go up to about 4,500, although I think I did see it go to 5 at one point, but I didn't have the data logger running at a very fast pace on this. I had actually forgotten to change the sampling rate there, even though my data logger can't sample very quickly anyway, but I had it sampling like less than once a second. So the other thing I found out by doing this one run here was that all those modifications that I did to the dyno controller box before, you know, the heater and the gear reduction on the valve, it made it way easier to control. At least so far, that it looks like it was a big improvement. Although right at the end, I kind of lost it. Right, I lost control of it right at the end. So, but there may be some other things going on there that might be causing that to happen at that speed, which I'll investigate in the future. But the highest CFM that I recorded was about 3.6, and to me that's not a lot of blow. I mean, to me that's not a very big number. But this is the very first time I've ever done this, and I don't have anything to compare it to. So, but to me that doesn't seem like a lot. And what I'm kind of thinking is that maybe that engine in terms of performance isn't as bad a condition as I thought it was. So to me it looks like the blow-by meter's working. I hope that it's pretty accurate. And if these numbers are accurate, then it's changing my mind about whether or not, I mean, if that's as low as the blow-by actually is, then I don't see the sense in me putting the money into having that engine bored and honed with new pistons. if it's not that bad, then I'm just gonna leave it alone. At any rate, I'm pretty happy with the way this project turned out, and this is the last part of this project, and then coming up, I've got a different engine to work on. So we're going to be removing the 302 from the dyno. 302 is not going away, but I need to make room on the dyno for another engine that I need to work on. So we'll next time we'll have a look at that engine, and we'll start getting to work on it. So all right, that's all I got for this week, and I'll see you next time.